Listen, guys, I have a treat for you guys tonight. I have been listening and I've heard everything you've said, and I have gone out and I have met Miss P, who is a South African woman who once, of course, was single, and now she is married and has been married for over a decade. And she's going to talk to us about marrying with intentions, the dating scene, basically
Yes.
now, and also being married. And, how does she do it? Is it good for her? And is marriage still important in SA? Because you remember, that's the number one question. That's what SB wants to know. And y'all keep in mind, I don't know anything about SA marriages. I think y'all think I do, but I don't. That's my disclaimer. All right. I know nothing about SA marriages. I am actually trying to figure this thing out because marriage is my thing. Just in case some of you all are new to the channel, I've been married 29 years, 30 years, November the 14th of this year. So I love marriage. I love love. I believe the
It's
nuclear
amazing.
family. I think that that's the way to make a nation thrive. And without that, I think that we are all in trouble. So this is why I'm asking so many questions and seeking out people who can help me. So, Miss P, go ahead and introduce yourself.
So, hi everybody. My name is Miss P. I think I'm taking a liking to that name. I'm Priska, but I'm definitely adopting Miss P. Yes, I have been married for over decade and a half. We are pursuing the second decade, and now that you mentioned that you guys are almost on your third decade, I almost feel like, shoo, okay. But nonetheless, I give God the glory through all of it. Yeah. So I'm just basically going to, speak about my perspective. It is not the law. It is not the be all and end all. I do believe that there will be more people that you'll have on, but this is just to give different perspective, and in this regard, my perspective.
Great, thank you. So we had a show not too long ago, and on that show, I had some ladies that were not married but looking to be married or open to being married, and one was actually engaged. And I wanted to know about the dating because I don't know much about dating. I don't see it going on much. That doesn't mean it's not going on, y'all. I stay in my house. So I just don't know much about dating, and I want to hear about dating, and I wanted to hear about being married. Is it important and all of that? So this show kind of stems from that show. There were a lot of comments. Oh my goodness, and it left me with more questions. Yeah, I've been married 30 years, and I got questions now. So so it's like whoa. So today we hope to cover a few of those things that were talked about, maybe get some complete definitions of some of the marriages and different types. And is dating actually important? And is marriage actually ultimately the goal?
Yeah.
Because like I said, it brought up more questions. So we're going to get started on that. And hopefully we answer some questions, or I myself get some answers to some of the things that I'm now really like, huh? All right. Okay, so let's go back. You now have been married 15 years.
Yeah, almost
So of
15 years.
course, there was a time that you were dating, which
Yes.
just hasn't been that long ago, in my opinion.
Okay.
Some would say that that is a long time, but I'm talking about in essence of the way cultures change or the way we evolve.
Mm,
Now people don't seem like they're dating much. So we're gonna start there. What would you say of your knowledge about dating now?
okay.
Is it as simple as it was when you were dating? Because now we have the internet. Like it used to be a time where you meet people at work, or
Yes.
they came by referral, like somebody knew somebody and things of that nature. Is that still what's happening in South Africa, or how are people meeting each other now? Is it just internet or what?
I think it differs from person to person.
Okay.
There are the dating sites,
Okay, so that is a big thing here.
yeah, well, I don't know if it's as big as, it is in the States, but, people are really now starting to go into that, to kind of meet people because maybe you are confined to work. And maybe you feel like the brothers at church are more like your brothers than potential husbands. I don't know. And so maybe you feel like, you know what, maybe let me just go outside of the norm, to kind of meet somebody. But yeah, people also do meet, in different places, such as maybe going out, in a club scene, if you're a person who
I met my husband in the club. You know, right now, if you tell somebody you met your man in the club or your woman in the club, they'd be like, "What?
yeah,
You what?"
yeah,
Oh, that was a thing way back in 95.
yes,
I met my husband in the club.
okay,
So so I don't hear too much because I wouldn't investigate that per se.
yeah,
But they have like Christian Mingle and they have all these different type of websites. So
yeah,
that is interesting to see that the South Africa has that.
mm-hmm.
Because I have this idea of South Africa that everything is so traditional,
Okay,
almost to the point where your dad and your mom go find your man and
okay,
bring him home to you. I'm realizing it's not
yes,
like that, guys. My family in the United States, y'all, they're way more modern than that.
okay,
This is me making it. This is just my idea,
yeah,
but it's very modern here. It's so much like what goes on in the United States, and you're exactly right about that.
yeah,
But I just wanted to have in my mind that everything was so traditional, and mom, like this family over here knew that family, and we got together, and you were going to marry her. I don't
oh
know
wow,
why. I don't know.
okay,
I have no idea. But
okay,
I see that that's not the case now.
yeah. But you do have, a certain percentage of people who want to have like a bit of both. You'll find that, let's say, for instance, you do have maybe somebody who is from a Hindu background, which is, an Indian part of South Africa, um,
Okay.
because we have, different cultures, we have different races, and Hindu weddings or Hindu marriages are also part of our culture. And so I do believe, although I'm not an expert in such, but I do believe that there are some elements or areas where they will choose a husband for you.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe in the Muslim culture, I won't speak too much on that, but I do believe that, as much as we are modern, we do also, have
Mm-hmm.
certain elements of our different cultures
Traditions. Yeah.
that we still maintain. Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't know why. I just wanted to hold on to that. But let's talk about this too. Let's mention that there are 11 different languages. And we never did ask you, what tribe are you a part of?
So I am Zulu. Yes,
Okay.
I'm Zulu. I am married though to a Movenda, which is a tribe in Limpopo.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So
So
was that a issue of any kind? I mean, I wonder sometimes, is it okay, or is there any pushback to marry culturally, or what you call it, intercultural?
yeah.
Is that ever an issue?
You know what? To tell you the truth, although I married into quite a cultural family, it's not something that it's not the kind of pressure I've ever felt.
Okay.
And I don't know if it's because, my husband is Venda, but my mother-in-law is Betty, and my sister-in-law is, it does have a Tsonga husband. Yeah. And
I
I,
don't know.
I I just so happen also to have a Sutu great grandmother. So for us, it's never really been an issue. But I suppose when I go to his village, maybe like with neighbors and such, then I will start to feel that, oh, okay, I am a little bit different, and maybe those whispers of, um like
Yeah,
those
oh yeah,
these
I know.
changes.
Yeah, but it's like I mean, it's definitely the Rainbow Nation because it's like a
Yes.
little melting pot,
Yeah.
and it's the differences are not celebrated. It's how much you are alike because now we're
Yes.
married.
Yeah.
Now my grandma is Soto.
Yes.
This is like, okay,
Yes.
we
And
just family.
yeah, no, in our family,
Yeah.
he's just a son-in-law. I'm just their daughter. in his family, and we're just doing life together.
Right.
Yeah.
And I can imagine too that maybe if we got into it, with DNA testing and what have you, that would probably ring true in the West also, in America.
Yes.
Because, we don't, I know my husband didn't come from where I came from. I know that, but
Yeah.
I don't know where he came from. So
Yes.
we don't make a big deal out of it in any way.
Yeah.
So, we just don't know.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah. And I think that we shouldn't anyway.
well, yeah, well, yeah,
Yeah.
well,
Well,
I don't know. That thing is very important. As we see.
Yeah.
So okay. So that's good to know. But it's very good to know that the melting pot does really work.
Yes.
Because you've been married a very long time. So that has nothing to do with the tribe that you're a part of, or the different cultures or traditions, has nothing to do with the covenant of marriage.
Yes.
And that's what's important.
Yes.
So, okay. So we're dating. I want to talk about a couple of things, because this is a couple of things that have been going on. I asked you about some things, and I want you to add what you were getting ready. You had a thought. What was your thought? Go ahead and add it.
No, I was just ready to just answer
Okay.
everything according to.
Okay, so this is what I've been seeing, and I want you to. We're gonna start with the Lobola.
Mhm.
Please explain to me the purpose of Lobola.
Mhm.
And I do realize that there is some discretion about
Yes.
Lobola. So tell us about what Lobola means,
Okay.
who's responsible for it,
Okay.
and is that something that is done throughout the South African culture and traditions?
Okay. So, I don't want to speak on our other agendas, but maybe let me just bring it down to like the African culture,
Okay.
um, your Zulu, Sotho, Tswana, and so on. Because I would like to believe that the Afrikaans, the English, don't necessarily practice that. Um, so, the concept of lobola is obviously indigenous. It goes back, from the Bible. You do see Jacob, working, for his wife, in order to win her over, to marriage. So with us, it is two families coming together. Generally, it would be the uncles of both sides of the family. However, in the Venda culture, the aunt who is, let's say, for instance, the aunt to the husband, plays a very pivotal role because, she's regarded as a very respectable matriarch in the family. So she would also be present when the negotiations take
Okay, so
place.
not the mother and the father, but the aunt and uncle.
Yes.
Now, is that purposeful, or is that just how you know it to be?
You know what? That's how I know it to be.
Okay.
But I think it varies from different situations. Like maybe if, let's say, the parents are late, you will have maybe the parents come in. But I don't think that the mother typically, would be involved. She would be involved, but like in the background.
Right.
um, but in terms of delegates, you can even have somebody that you feel maybe you perceive them as an uncle to you, maybe not biologically, but you
Oh.
regard them as somebody that has brought you up, somebody that you respect in the community.
Mhm.
It can even be maybe somebody, maybe an elder at your church, because that is somebody that you look up to. So yeah, delegates can spread. It can be broad, in a sense that it can be other people, other elders, apart from your uncle and the aunt.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Now that's interesting. And now, who would actually choose the delegates if that were to happen outside of the aunts and uncle?
Yeah.
Who would actually be into those decision making?
Typically the family. Um the husband, the future husband,
Hmm.
because he's the one that
Responsible
would
for it.
turn.
His family is he himself or is it his family?
So they represent him, but he raises the money.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Again, it's different in different cultures. Sometimes, in some isiZulu cultures, you'd find that the father raises the money for his son.
Mm-hmm.
And then in some cases, you find that the man feels like, you know what, I want to work
Mm-hmm.
for this.
Right.
And so let me, even if it means I have to get a loan, even if it means I have to work longer hours, even if it means I have to save up, let me do it just for the purpose of feeling like, you know what, I've I've earned this.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Of course, I've heard this before.
Mm-hmm.
Some not quite as in many details as you have put, but it is marriage used to be definitely in the Old Testament, like you said, a
Mm-hmm.
merging of families together.
Yes.
And if you're taking my daughter or work, that's like wealth. She could be out there in the fields
Mm.
doing a lot of different things. So she's valuable. So when
Yeah.
you take her away, and especially if she's pure, then
Mm.
you do need to compensate the family
Yes.
for whatever.
Yeah.
That's my understanding. And it kind of sounds a little bit like what you're saying.
Yeah.
There may be some differences. Like you said, when you hear things from different cultures, then it kind of takes on a little different form. But I
Yes.
think I'm in agreement or understand what you're
Yes.
saying. Now, here in 2025, would you say Lobola is as important for couples prior marriage than it has been in the past?
Um, I want to say yes and no. And
Okay,
just
you're saying yes, it's important, but
yeah.
not many people
So
adhere.
yes, I feel that it is important, more especially if it's not necessarily about a monetary um, value to it. So if it is used as a symbol to say we are the groom's family, we come to the bride's family, we have seen a flower in your family, and we just want to show appreciation.
That is so good.
And that is why, they shouldn't be, because I've seen that, in some instances now, they'll even put a price. Oh, they got loboled, with 60 cows. That was not what the whole point of it was about.
Hmm.
And that's why, it's actually meant to be private and secretive. Excuse me. So that even if, you can only raise, for instance, 200 rand. And I'm not saying that that is what happens. But let's say, for instance, your intentions are good.
Right.
And maybe as the future bride, you can really see that this person really has a good heart. And they really have good standards, and I can definitely see them as the father to my children. I can definitely see them as a husband, in the family. So why must they be made to pay exorbitant amounts?
Mhm.
So let's come together, let's agree that this is what he has, and you know this is what he can afford. you know then it's done, with in discretion.
Okay. Okay, because I've heard that before, and
Yeah.
I think that came into question.
Hmm.
I do think that it should be something, a sign of respect. I
Yes.
really agree with that.
Yeah.
And there was a question about the young man being able to afford
Mm.
what the uncles or would put out to be a value or the amount.
Okay.
Um, Typically, how is something if that were to be the case, how would that be settled?
So again, it varies from family to family.
Right.
There are some instances where maybe one may feel that, I really, really want to do this. I want my bride, and so whatever is expected of me, I am just going to pay it out at that instant.
Okay.
But typically, we do have a saying that, you do not finish a bride. So meaning that you don't really finish lobola.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and I think that maybe it is done, so that you may not feel like this person is a property to you. It is meant that you would continue to appreciate them.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, as your wife.
Then you'd have instances where they would say, okay, this is what we're going to, maybe I can call it appearance. In Zulu, we say nyovela. It means that you are going to appear, you're going to show yourself, you're going to introduce yourself. And you'd come bearing certain gifts.
Mm-hmm.
This is the initial appointment, right? So you'd come bearing gift. Maybe you'd have a whiskey for
Okay.
somebody, maybe your father-in-law, or you would have maybe like even 200 rands, um, just to kind of break the ice, so to speak.
Like showing good intentions, it sounds like.
Yes, because now, when you show an intention to marry their daughter,
Mm-hmm.
they shouldn't make it so easy for you to say, okay, no, you can have her.
Hmm.
So you need to say, okay, I'm here.
Oh, I see. I'm getting
100%.
it.
Yeah.
Okay, because, well, that makes me ask the question, can two men court at one time? Is that acceptable? Meaning, like, because you're saying now is I'm going to, as a male, I'm going to present my Lobola and my
Yes.
respect to the family to let them know I'm the son that they should be choosing.
Yes, and because obviously you can only come if the daughter has said yes.
She would have already had to say yes, or could she be just not yet?
No, she would have to say
Okay, so it is
yes.
okay, so it's up to the daughter to say yes. It's not a family
Yeah,
situation.
yeah, definitely.
Because I thought that the family could still say no, even though the daughter said yes. Like, for instance, if when he comes to his presentation, say he came and his presentation of his intentions was not acceptable to uncle and aunt, or they were just thinking, no, is this something that happens?
It does.
You're not ready.
It does.
Even daughter said yes. Even though the daughter said yes,
Yeah.
what happens then?
I think in that regard, I think it would be cruel for them to just allow them to come all the way. So if it's a no from the parents, I think that it would be communicated prior to that to say, no, we feel like our daughter is still young.
Okay,
So maybe we will say yes in future, but for now it's still a no.
it's still a no.
Yeah, but as far as I know, there's very rare cases, because generally, like, if you are gonna come to bring lobola, it's
It's
almost
already
like,
discussed.
yes, we
Yeah.
almost we kind of clear as we're dating that this
This is
is,
what needs to happen.
yes,
and-
this is where we're trying, this is where we're heading as a couple.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I'm asking that question because I've met several people
Mhm.
that have families, or several young ladies who have been in relationships with men who have asked them to marry them, but for whatever reason they could not pay their lobola,
Okay.
and they have ended up living or cohabitating with these young men.
Yes.
And I want to know, and you know what I mean by cohabitating. I'm sure
Yes.
everybody does. Living together without being married. Okay.
Yeah. We call it a fattenset. It's an Afrikaans term that means you take, you put. Like, literally, like,
You take
you take,
and you
you
put
put.
and
So
you
that,
leave it there,
yeah.
huh? So that's without marriage. Wow.
Yeah.
So I've seen and I've heard of several situations where that has happened.
Mhm.
And I was wondering, because the idea of marriage, lobola, and all of that is highly regarded from what you're saying to me,
Yes,
and respected.
it
Now,
is.
my ladies, I'm not in any way taking anything away from you, because nobody here is perfect.
Mm.
But I'm trying to figure out why we allowed to take and to put. Right?
Yes.
Is that a good
Yes.
question?
Yes.
So
Definitely.
how do we get away with that, considering that uncle and aunt has said that you need to come respectively? Our families, we're joining our families together. So how is that acceptable, or is it really acceptable and it's just something that we do?
You know what? It's not necessarily acceptable. It is done, I think, because we are more modern, so to speak. And also, you would find that maybe you are a career person. Again, every situation is different, but you find that you are a career person, then you take a liking to somebody at work, or
That
and
is the way.
now you find that you are having, your 9 to 5 job, you're paying your own rent,
Mhm.
and you guys visit each other.
Okay.
And I'm not talking from a Christian perspective, but
Okay. Okay.
I'm just merely pointing out
So now you're
generally.
dating.
Yes. So, we kind of visit each other. We visit each other, and maybe like you'll, maybe like I will leave my shoes, or you visit me, then I leave,
The
maybe you
toothbrush.
leave your t-shirt or your toothbrush,
Uh-huh.
and and I suppose at this point, we are really, really into each other, and then we're like, you know what? We've been in this for some
Some
time.
time. Yeah.
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 So how about, we move in together? That way, we'll save on you having to leave your stuff here, or, we can save on rent, we can use your car. So I don't know if it's something that people go out to say, you know what, I'm gonna do it, but you find that you don't necessarily need the permission of the
Family.
family,
Yeah.
because you feel like, I mean, I'm paying my own rent,
Mhm.
I pay my own petrol and such, and a lot of the time, it won't be disclosed. It will be something that is kept amongst the
The
two of you
Mhm. Yeah, I know
until,
about that.
yeah,
So what is typically the married teen age? What is for a young lady here? Typically, what age is she, if you had to say?
I would say maybe like mid to late 20s.
Okay.
Yeah,
So now I can see why me becoming an adult
yeah,
would alter my experience as far as becoming married. Because
yes,
the more life I have to live as an adult, the more I am going to be more independent of family.
yes, yeah.
And then I would definitely be dependent on my own resources.
Yeah.
And that's what happens.
And probably you would have even moved out of home,
Yeah.
far earlier,
Hmm.
when
Hmm.
when you were going to university, maybe like around the age of 18, 19. And then maybe then you start working, even while still studying, so maybe by the time you're 20, 21, you're starting to have your own money, you're starting to have a liking
Hmm.
to certain things, and maybe you are able to even send money at home,
Yes, right.
and that can make them perceive you in a
Absolutely.
different way. It would probably be difficult for them to even try and reprimand you because, you are bringing something
Hmm.
home.